Greetings, YouTube. Danny Staten here on Dan Blog. I'm bringing you some good stuff today with a surprise. That's right, I enjoyed that H.G. Wells Food of the Gods comic book so much, I had to break out another classic illustrated H.G. Wells comic book. Today I'm taking a look at the Invisible Man. But if he's invisible, how am I going to take a look at him as I check out number 153, Classic Illustrateds from 1959? Anybody remember The Invisible Man, the story that this is based on? They actually come out with a movie about this in 1933.
Bandages right up to the top of his head, all round his ears.
Laura's worried about Griffin.
I had a terrible feeling last night. I thought he was in desperate trouble.
He meddled in things men should leave alone. Not the slightest clue. That's where the clues are. He wasn't leaving anything to chance. There must be a way back. How he knows there's a way back? If only they'd leave me alone.
It's the stranger with the novels. He's gone mad.
You're crazy to know who I am, aren't you? All right, I'll show you. With me, your madness, with your peering through the keyholes and peeping through the curtains. And now you'll suffer for it. But why? Why do it, Griffin? Just a scientific experiment at first, to do something no other man in the world had done. Suddenly I realized the power I held, the power to rule, to make the world grovel at my feet. You know who the Invisible Man is, Doctor. Where is Dr. Griffin? What's the good of concealing it?
Oh, come and stay with us. Let's fight this thing out together.
Police, quickly. The Invisible Man is in my house. He's mad. He's killed a man tonight. Believe me, as surely as the moon will set and the sun will rise, I shall kill you tomorrow night. The secret of invisibility lies there in my books. Don't you see what it means? Power. Power to walk into the gold vaults of the nations, into the secrets of kings, into the holy of holies. Power to make multitudes run, squealing in terror at the touch of my little invisible finger. Even the moon's frightened of me. The whole world's frightened to death. I'll lay traps that even an invisible man can't pass. Keep your stations now. Watch the wall. Help! Help! He's here! He's here! Here we go, gathering nuts and may on a cold and frosty morning.
So, as my friend Thrash Pondo Puns would say, without further ado, let's take a look at the Invisible Man. But it's going to be hard because he's invisible. Inside the front cover, we get commercials for tons of classic illustrated stories you could have picked up back in the day. And you could have built your own classic illustrated library with hardback editions of all these cool comic books if you had extra money. So, in beautifully colored panels, this comic book, The Invisible Man, from 1959, starts exactly like the movie. A bandit stranger arrives at the inn. A bandit stranger appears to have been in an accident looking for a room. Exactly like the movie. Hey, they even draw that crazy old lady just like the one in the movie as she brings the injured man his tray. He's rude to her. He says he'll pay. He pays, and he'll pay. And he don't want to be disturbed. Wow, I love the way that the continuity of this comic actually matches the movie. So, in full panels, brought to you by the Daily Dan Blog, we're looking at some good stuff today. We're checking out the Invisible Man. Check it out. Invisible Man's going shopping. Invisible Man getting attacked by dogs. Invisible Man doing some fleeing around town. Invisible Man eating a nice dinner while he does his experiments. The lady does not like the experiments. She says his chemicals stink, and she wants him to chill out or maybe leave. And he says, "Get out! Get out to you!" And she gets out and listens at the door as he babbles to himself. I can't begin to tell you how much I'm enjoying the panels in this classic H.G. Wells comic book from 1959. It is drawn supremely well. I'm going to give a big shout out to the artist on this one. As it follows suit, Invisible Man seems to be a little bit more sane than he was in the movie. He talks things over with the proprietor. He says he needs this, he needs that, and he gives the guy money to go procure the objects he is looking for. And then we get this long drug-out panel where people are awakened from their sleep by rantings and ravens in the night. The innkeepers creep around in the dark, attempting to spy on the Invisible Man. And then page after page of creeping around in the dark and listening at doors, being freaked out by hats floating around and chairs floating around. It must be ghosts. She thinks her place may be haunted as chairs float around. I don't remember that from the movie. Do you remember that from the movie? So in a scene that's definitely not in the movie, the old lady accuses the man of raising up some spirits, of raising up some ghosts. He calls her a babbling old fool. He says he's a man of science who just had an accident. But if you really want to see something scary, I'll show you something scary, says the Invisible Man, as he starts to unwrap his stuff, and suddenly, to everyone's surprise, there's no head there! Ah! The sight of the headless specter sends the townspeople running in fear. May I also add that that scene in the movie was a lot better than it was in the comic book. The director of the movie really should be given credit. Well, anyway, the cops are called in to arrest the headless man, who are like, oh my God, how can you not have a head? A battle ensues as slowly he strips off his clothes to reveal he's completely invisible. The cops, the Keystone Cops, are dumbfounded. So, in what could be the best part of this book, full panels brought to you by the Danny Dan blog, full, well-drawn panels. The Invisible Man goes skipping out through the countryside where he runs into my hero, that's right. He runs into the incomparable Dr. Wu. Dressed like a wizard and hanging out in the forest, we know this. It's Dr. Wu. And he's got the Halloween look going on, as Dr. Wu says, I see you, Invisible Man. I sense your presence. He feels the presence of the Invisible Man because he's the incredible Dr. Wu. They have a conversation with nobody because I am Dr. Wu. My name is Bob. And doing what Bob does, he breaks camp. He runs as fast as he can. He scours through town like a wizardly leprechaun, leaping over tall dogs in a single bound, screaming and hollering, running into the bar and telling people, I have encountered that Invisible Man. I am Dr. Wu. Hear my words. The Invisible Man is afoot. And they prepare a hunting party, guns are drawn, and they talk about how to round up a Invisible Man. And, of course, now we got to get some drunken Dr. Wu hijinks. Dr. Wu had a few. Dr. Wu's rolling around. Dr. Wu say, hey, that Invisible Man could be anywhere because he's invisible. They start kicking under desks, slamming knives under chairs, rolling around and tearing up the place because the Invisible Man could be anywhere. Oh, these idiots throwing stuff around, throwing flour in the air, throwing dirt on the ground, shooting in circles because they're so afraid the Invisible Man could be afoot. As a former colleague of the Invisible Man has words with his housekeeper. He hears noises. He goes to investigate. What the heck? Do y'all remember that, kind of? As a voice rings out, he realizes that the Invisible Man has come to visit. That's right, this guy was a former lab assistant to the Invisible Man. And now he's going to make you famous. They've left out a few things from the movie and this comic book, hadn't they? Anyway, he's hanging out with his former colleague. He's going to have to wrap himself up. He's going to rebandage his stuff. Wah, wah, wah. So in full panels brought to you by the Danny Dan blog after a brief break from the sponsors. Oh my God. Back to this guy talking to the Invisible Man. Back to this guy making plans with the Invisible Man. The Invisible Man gonna explain to him how he's gonna rule the world with his invisibility as he wears a robe and walks around looking like a freaky ghost. At least that's a good way to present an Invisible Man in a comic book. At least you can see something. I thought it was just gonna be him invisible and you never could see nothing. But they doing the robe thing. They doing it like the movie does. Well done, comic book. Well done. And as we check out The Invisible Man from 1959, number 153 in the classic illustrated comic books, let me take this time to give a shout out to my friend Thrash Pondo Ponds. You can find the incredible Thrash Pondo here on YouTube, as well as Dave Sunstorm, my good stuff guy. Hey, Dave! It's the Invisible Man. Good stuff, Dave. Let me know in the comments below, provided you actually watched this video. I noticed you ain't watched too many of my videos lately. Yeah, I noticed that. Hey, check out his brother Steven Sunstorm, too. He's another good stuff guy. And a special shout out to my friend Pat McCormick at the Golden Ranger TV right here on YouTube. And thanks, Pat, for letting me use your music on my live show. 13 o'clock live on Saturday nights. Here on the Daddy Dan blog. Be sure to check that out. And special shout outs to BK on the Air and Big Guys 45 and the Life and Sad Ending channel. And my flock is everywhere. Special shout out to you too, girl. Now here's something that's not in the movie. After hours of endless laboratory experiments at dude's house, suddenly he made a mistake somehow. Blowed up stuff in the house, burnt to the ground. The Invisible Man had to flee. Invisible Man was running amok, knocking stuff around, leaving footprints in the snow. Now, that was not in the movie. So, in full panels, brought to you by the Daily Dan blog, I give you the real story. The Invisible Man right here, boys. The Invisible Man is just an outline in the snow as he runs. Invisible Man's looking for a place to hide. It's a costume shop. You could dress up like anybody. The old man at the costume shop knows somebody's creeping around in there, but he don't see nobody. I wonder why he don't see nobody. Check out that Mike Bleezy looking beep. Yeah, old Mike Bleezy's creeping around in here. He appears in this comic book too, as young Dr. Wu shows up, right out of a time traveler. Nope, that's looking like Dr. Wu from 1972 or something now. That ain't the same old Dr. Wu from earlier. This is a new Dr. Wu. We'll call this Dr. Wu 2.0 has arrived. That's the Invisible Man in disguise. You know that, right, guys? Oh my God. What a long comic book. So after sharing that horrible story of how he came to be over to the assistant's house, he's still walking around in his robe babbling to Mike Bleezy over here. Mike Bleezy done grew some hair and he's looking all upset at the Invisible Man. Look at this Mike Bleezy guy, and we all know why I call him Mike Bleezy. If you know Mike Bleezy, he look just like Mike Bleezy. Don't he look like Mike Bleezy? Mox will tell you if he's watching. Suddenly banging at the door, the Invisible Man is rattled as he jerks off his robe and flees. The man tries to hold the door, but the door is pushed by. The cop feels something blow by him, and he realizes he had just missed the Invisible Man. Blazy's a thieving little Bleezy's gonna rat out the Invisible Man. He says, "You must protect me." The cop says, "I don't know if I can protect you from an Invisible Man because I'm a Michael Marone-looking dupe over here. I'm a goof. Oh, I'm cracking on all these goddamn Trossy trolls tonight, aren't I? Bleezy's all upset. He's telling Michael Marone, the sheriff, "You gotta protect me from that Invisible Man. He gonna get me now that I done sold him out." So in all panels, brought to you by the Daily Dan blog, we carry on with the tale of the Invisible Man. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Kemp will die tonight. That's right. Mike Bleezy Kemp over here is going to die tonight. The Invisible Man done sent a letter. He's threatening everybody. They're doing all they can to protect him, just like in the movie pretty much, yeah, kind of. But we'll see. Will the Invisible Man get Bleezy? We can only hope. Anytime a Bleezy's about to get wasted by somebody, it's usually a good thing. Anyway, the cops are all like trying to protect him, but the guns go floating, they go shooting. Oh, people getting shot up in here. He shot a cop down. That didn't happen in the movie. As he uses an axe to break through the window, Bleezy grab a fire poker to protect himself and runs in fear as cops come in the front door and they search the place. But then this little man goes crazy with an axe and a battle ensues. Oh my God, that wasn't in the movie neither. I'll give credit where credit's due. Not only is this comic book drew really well, I love the art in this comic book, it's a little graphic for 1959 as this axe swings through the air like Jason Voorhees and a battle ensues. Another cop goes down in a bloody mess. Now there's only one cop left to protect Mike Bleasy. Mike Bleasy jumps out the freaking window and runs full stride towards the town, hollering and screaming, "There, this old man's after me, he's after me, he's after me." I'm loving this comic book, by the way. Seems to be a little bit better than that Food of the Gods crap I took a look at yesterday. What do you think, guys? Anyway, Bleasy's rounding up a posse. Bleasy's sending women and children running in fear. Bleasy's like, the invisible man is out and about, but suddenly he's thrown to the ground and feels the hands of death choking around him as the invisible man has found the Blease. The invisible man is knocked off by a guy with a shovel, and people look around. He said he's down. They feel invisible man knocked out on the ground, and this is nothing like what happened in the movie, by the way. I'm thinking that this might be the actual book adaptation. We'll have to check with Thrash Pondo Puns to find out if that's accurate or not. As they gang whoop, the invisible man gets a butt whooping like none ever before. Oh, God. So, brings me to this ending. This last pages of The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. As the invisible man is beat down, the invisible man is slammed around. Bleasy lifts his head on the invisible man's chest and says he hears a heartbeat. And Granny hollers out of nowhere. Mom and Pa Kettle show up, and Granny says, "He's alive! Look, I see him!" And suddenly, the invisible man's pulse rate slows. As he passes away for the first time, invisible man becomes the visible man as he slips off into Never Never Land. Bye-bye, invisible man. Bye-bye. The end. Oh my God, what a bleak, dismal freaking ending. I kind of should have saw that coming, shouldn't I? I saw the movie. Oh my God, down the next page we get the autobiography of H.G. Wells, the guy who wrote this, and I'll go slow in case you want to pause it and read it. I think it's the exact same thing I looked at when I checked out Food of the Gods yesterday. And then you get the vanished race, a tale of them mythical people who inhabited our land long ago. In this ancient alien's tale, maybe? From back in the day. Now take note, this tale that you're reading, if you're taking time to read it, comes from 1959. And it surprises me, their level of information. Oh, God. So they're just going to throw some stories in the back of it, A strange visitor to Abraham Lincoln, that's right. We get this Abraham Lincoln ghost story for Halloween. If you want, I'll pause it and read it. As I'm sure that goof Michael Marone, if he's watching this, will pause it and read it because he's somewhat afflicted. But I do it for you, Michael. I go real slow, just like you ask. And we finish it up with some classic illustrated fairy tales that you could have picked up back in 1959. I have quite a few of these, actually. And one day, I may get to another one. And we're going to waste the back cover with other classic illustrated comics you could have owned back in the day. And I probably got quite a few of these, too. And you'll be seeing another one pretty soon. I'm almost sure of it. So that's my incredibly long, incredibly overdone look at The Invisible Man, a classic illustrated comic book from 1959, number 153. And it's H.G. Wells. And I love H.G. Wells. Be sure to join me next time when I take a look at something else, maybe? It's probably going to be a classic illustrated. Who am I kidding? I got one more I want to get in. So I'll be doing one of them. And until next time, this is Danny Staten on the Dirty Damn Blog. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that stupid little bell. Be sure to leave me a comment in the comments below. Till next time, guys, blog on!